Hi everyone, this is Sridhar at eShikshana. In this video we'll discuss on telemetry. In telemetry we have discussion on definition of telemetry, general telemetry system, types of telemetry system, DC telemetry system or landline telemetry system, radio frequency or RF telemetry system, and types of signals and transmission path. We'll start the discussion with the definition of telemetry. Telemetry is defined as a technology which allows users to collect the information from inaccessible and inconvenient locations and to transmit it to the accessible places to process, record and display the information in presentable form. Or in simple way we can say the meaning of telemetry means measuring at a distance. Next we'll discuss general telemetry system. The telemetry system consists of input stage, intermediate stage and output stage. Input stage consisting of measurand and primary sensing element or the detector, and the signal is sent to the channel transmitter, so which is an intermediate stage. The intermediate stage consisting of the following three elements: telemeter transmitter, telemeter channel, telemeter receiver. The telemeter transmitters converts the output of the primary detector into an electrical signal and transmits it to the telemetering channel. The signal, usually in the electrical form, is received by a telemeter receiver placed at the remote location. This receiver converts the signal into a usable form and is indicated or recorded by display by the end device, which is calibrated in terms of measurand. The control device is provided to take a corrective action on measurand through feedback loop to control output. For telemetry, some basic instruments are required for translating the measurand into a suitable electrical signal, processing and transmission of signal over the channel, receiving the signal and converting it to a readily comprehensible reading. The types of telemetry systems. The telemetry system can be classified as follows. Mainly we have the two types of classification. The first one is according to the link between that telemeter transmitter and the telemeter receiver. The link between the telemeter transmitter and receiver. So it is being classified as landline or DC telemetry system, which further classifies as the voltage telemetering system, current telemetering system, position or ratio telemetering system. The next is radio frequency telemetering system. So in that we can have a frequency telemetering system and pulse telemetering system. Now this classification is based on the link between the telemeter transmitter and telemeter receiver. So if you observe, so these are the types of links. So the first one acts as the line based or a physical connection based between telemeter transmitter and telemeter receiver, and the second one is a wireless, so where there is no link between the transmitter and receiver through a wire. Further, the AC telemetering system is employed for both landline and radio frequency airborne telemetry techniques. AC telemetry is employed for sensor which provide an AC output or voltage to frequency converters. The data is available in the form of current or voltage, which is usually very weak for such transmission, hence is modulated by an AC carrier wave generated by an oscillator. The next classification is based on according to the form which the information is transmitted. In the diagram we can see the first classification is based on the link between the transmitter and receiver. This classification is the form of which the transmitter sends to a receiver. Further, it is categorized as the analog telemetry system. The information is transmitted in the form of current, voltage, position and frequency. The next can be classified as the digital telemetry system. The information transmitted in the form of pulses. The landline telemetry system comes under the category of a system with direct physical link. This physical link between the transmitter and receiver is nothing but a telemeter channel. So this link can be cable used for telephony or telegraphy or a power carrier line. This system is most suitable for shorter distance telemetry. In radio frequency RF telemetry system, there is no physical link between the telemeter transmitter and telemeter receiver. The link between the transmitting end and the receiving end is established through a radio links. Next we'll discuss on the advantages of landline telemeter systems. Very effective system for shorter distance transmission, as the telemeter or communication channel can be established with the help of a simple cable or transmission line. Very simple circuitry is required for measurement setup. The information can be transmitted in the form of voltage, current and position easily by the use of modern electronic circuitry. A wide variety of detectors are available which produce electrical signal, voltage or current in relation with the variable being measured at the system input stages. The information can be transmitted in the form of voltage, current and position easily. The disadvantages of landline systems are limited frequency response, signal multiplexing is very difficult, the distortion in the transmissions links are directly proportional in the main system, the information transmitted through the link is affected by the EMI effects of main frequency from nearby cables. The effects of thermoelectric EMFs are significant in the case of telemetry systems transmitting DC signals. These are the disadvantages of landline telemetry systems. Next we'll discuss on the voltage telemetry system, which is a part of the link between the telemeter transmitter and the telemeter receiver. So which consisting of transmitter terminal, receiving terminal. In the transmitting terminal we have a potentiometer and a slide connected with the board-on tube which measures the pressure, and at the receiving end we have a potentiometer, the scale calibrated in terms of the quantity is being measured. The measurement is converted to AC or DC voltage. Usually the receivers are self-balanced potentiometers. It consists of a wire potentiometer connected in series with the battery at the transmitting terminal. The sliding contact is connected to the board-on tube used for pressure measurement. At the receiving terminal, a null balanced DC potentiometer or a recorder is used in between the transmitting and the receiving terminal. A pair of wires forms the telemeter channel. With the change of pressure in the system, the board-on tube actuates the slider of the potentiometer. Consequently, the voltage changes at the transmitting end. This voltage is carried by the telemetering channel to the receiving terminal, where it is measured with the help of null balanced DC potentiometer indicator, calibrated in terms of pressure scale, that is kilonewtons per meter square, or recorded if it is required. Some systems make use of this deflection type indicators to measure voltage. So these indicators are calibrated for the line resistance. Basically, a null balanced DC potentiometer reduces the current carried by the telemetric channel with negligible resistance. In such systems, the use of primary sensing element or detector such as microphones, tachometers, Bourdon tubes, or differential transformer as all produces the voltage signal. This is the working of voltage telemetric system. Next we'll discuss on the current telemetric system. So it consists of a slide wire potentiometer in series with a battery. The slider is connected to the Bourdon tube which measures the pressure. At the receiving terminal, a milliammeter is connected in series and which is calibrated in terms of pressure scale, that is kilonewton per meter square. The operation can be described as when a pressure in the system changes, the Bourdon tube moves the slider contact, thereby changing the current at the transmitting terminal. This current passes through the receiving terminal through the pairs of wires, that is a telemetric channel, and at the receiving terminal it is measured by the milliammeter. So the improved versions of the current telemetric system we have nowadays as motion balanced current telemetric system and force balanced current telemetric system. We'll discuss these two. The construction can be represented shown in the diagram. A slide wire potentiometer is replaced by the position detector like inductor transducer or capacitive transducer. A linear variable differential transducer LVDT has been used as inductive transducer. The pressure acting on the Bourdon tube causes the displacement which moves the core of the LVDT, thereby producing an voltage output which is amplified by an amplifier and then rectified. This voltage produces DC current in the telemetric channel and is measured by DC millimeter directly calibrated in terms of pressure being measured, that is kilonewton per meter square. The main difference between the newer version and older version is that the slide wire is replaced by an LVDT. Next we'll discuss on force balanced current telemetric system. In this system, a part of the current output is fed back to oppose the motion of the input variable is being measured. The diagram shows a force balanced current telemetric system. The Bourdon tube, after sensing change in pressure, rotates the feedback force coil. As coil rotates, the flux links between the primary and secondary winding changes. So this change in flux linkages varies the amplitude of the amplifier. The output is connected to the feedback force coil which produces the force opposing the Bourdon tube input. This system of current telemetry increases the accuracy as small variations are required, which results in better linearity. Next we'll discuss on the advantages of current telemetry system. The current telemetry system can be developed higher voltages than most voltage systems, and consequently it can be made more immune to the effect of thermal and inductance voltages in the interconnecting leads as well as line resistance. Simple DC milliammeter can be used with special calibration for line resistance. Several receivers can be operated simultaneously. The receiver signal can be added or subtracted directly. Changes the line resistance are compensated by basic feedback method. The response of the system to an input change is almost instantaneous. The energy level is adequately high to minimizing the effect of extraneous voltages. So this system is also not suitable for longer distance, since the current output is varied by means of an adjustable resistance in the line. Next we'll discuss on position or ratio telemetering system. This system transmits and reproduces the measurand variable by positioning variable resistor or other electrical components in a bridge circuit form so as to produce proportional changes at both the transmitter and the receiver ends. The figure shows the positioning telemetering bridge type system. It consists of two potentiometers, 1 and 2, one at the transmitting end and 2 at the receiving end, and are operated by common power supply. When the pressure is applied, the Bourdon tube positions the sliding contact at the receiving end. If the sliding contact at the receiving end is positioned until the center galvanometer shows 0, the position of the contact will assume the same position as the contact at the transmitter. The receiving contact moves at the pointer, which indicates on the scale the pressure which is being measured. The principle involved is same as the Wheatstone bridge. The synchromotor telemetering system is most commonly example of position or radio telemetering. In this system, angular input displacement is converted to relative magnitude of three-phase AC voltages. We'll see the advantages and limitations of a position ratio telemetering system. The advantages are: requires no intermediate amplifier or conversion, relatively inexpensive, minimum moving parts so that maintenance is low, instantaneous response, power taken for their operation is directly from the line. And the limitation is these systems are affected by excessive line resistance. So this is the only limitations of a position or ratio telemetering system. Next we'll discuss on frequency or RF telemetering system. The link between the transmitting end and the receiving end is established through the radio link. So here in the diagram we can see the physical connection, but in RF telemetering system there is no physical connection between the transmitter channel and the receiver. The example is the controlling an aircraft on test flights, rockets and spacecrafts. The RI telemetry systems are most suitable for transmission of data over distances more than 1 kilometer. In this system, along with the certain band of the radio frequency spectrum, a microwave link above 4 MHz is also located. This is because the radio waves at the frequency travel in straight lines with some pitators located every 30 km to 60 km on high buildings or towers. This is about the radio frequency telemetering system. Next we'll discuss on types of signals and transmission paths. Encoder produces the following two types of electrical signals: analog and digital. A telephone, radio broadcast of TV signals are very common types of signals used for general public. Representation by voltage waveforms that have different amplitudes at different instants of the time. So this is about the analog signals. And digital signals are the signal comprises of pulses occurring at the discrete interval of time. The pulse may be occurring single at a different period of time or as a decoded group. The signals play a very important role in the transmission and reception of the coded message. A simplest type of the digital signal are telegraph, teleprinter signals. but sometimes analog messages are also converted into digital form before being transmitted for certain reason. Next, we'll discuss on the transmission paths. The transmission of messages can be carried out by means of the followings: transmission lines or line communication, radio waves or radio communication. First, we'll discuss on transmission lines or line communication. The most common form of line communication is telephone and telex network. These carried out using overhead lines on poles and also by use of buried cables. The UHF range and above communications are carried out by the use of waveguides. The following points are worth noting. Waveguide signal propagation takes place by means of radio waves, provided the cross-sectional dimension of the proper waveguide rectangular hollow pipe maintained a proper relation with the wavelength of the wave. The waveguides are employed as transmission lines for microwaves communications in the frequency range of 2 GHz to 11 GHz. Waveguides do not transmit the signal below cutoff frequencies and have bandwidth in excess of 20% of operating frequencies. Optical waveguides have been developed in the form of glass fibers to carry modulated signals at frequencies of higher order of 100 terahertz from lasers. This will have very vast capacity of carrier signals. Next, we'll discuss on radio waves or radio communication. In this type of communication, the propagation of signal through the atmosphere is used. The non-directional antennas are employed for broadcasting, transmission and reception of, while directional antennas are employed to radio telephony and other point-to-point links. Radio waves are commonly termed as unbounded waves, but generally they are bounded by the surface of the earth and various isotropic conducting layers that lie between at the height of 50 km to 400 km above ground. The major radio frequency bands are listed below. Very low frequency, the frequency is below 30 kHz and used for radio location equipment. Low frequency is the frequency band between 30 kHz to 300 kHz, used for wartime radio navigation. Medium frequency 300 kHz to 3 MHz includes AM radio broadcast band, and high frequency 300 MHz to 30 MHz used for radio communication. Very high frequency 30 MHz to 300 MHz includes FM broadcast and television very high frequency band. Ultra high frequency 300 MHz to 3 GHz include television UHF channels. Super high frequency 3 GHz to 30 GHz satellite communication. Extremely high frequency, the frequency between 30 GHz to 300 GHz for satellite communication. In radio receiver, by providing an RF amplifier, the following advantages are obtained. Signal to noise ratio is improved, availability of greater gain and better sensitivity. Image frequency rejection is improved, better selectivity, and improved coupling of the receiver to antenna. Thank you for watching.